It would not have happened without Mr. Obey's support. In addition, Chairman Spratt, not a member of our subcommittee, but the chairman of the House Budget Committee, has played a key role, along with Chairman Filner, the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee. And finally, but absolutely not least, I want to thank my colleague, my friend, and the ranking member of this committee, Mr. Wamp of Tennessee. He has been a partner, a leader at every step of the way in supporting our troops and our veterans and their families. His commitment to our military and our veterans is deep, it's genuine, and he puts it to work every day by working hard in their behalf. And I want to thank him for his vital role in not only shaping this bill, but our bill last year as well. Madam Chair, let me try to focus, rather than on a long list of numbers, some of the major initiatives in this bill. As I referenced, for the first time in history, we provide an advanced appropriation for VA medical care. This will allow the VA to invest taxpayers' dollars more efficiently and more effectively. And I want to thank, in addition to having thanked Mr. Obey, Mr. Spratt, Mr. Wamp, Speaker Pelosi for making this possible, I want to salute America's veteran service organizations, the leaders of our veterans organizations who have made this one of their highest priorities. Second, we provide $450 million to build new troop housing for Army trainees, over 60,000 of whom are presently living in barracks that don't even meet minimum DOD standards. You know, 18 and 19-year-old military recruits don't have many lobbyists running around Capitol Hill in their behalf, but they deserve our nation's respect and support for their decision to serve in the military. Third, we provide $200 million for Guard and Reserve Construction Initiative, recognizing the vital role these troops are playing in Iraq and Afghanistan and in our nation's defense. And particularly, in addition to his other efforts, I want to thank Mr. Wamp for taking the leadership role on this Guard and Reserve Initiative. Fourth, this bill begins the process of funding our operations in Iraq and Afghanistan through the regular appropriations process, and we include $1.4 billion for vital military construction to support our troops in Afghanistan. Fifth, recognizing that the mental wounds of war can sometimes be as painful and as long-lasting as the physical wounds of war, we provide $4.6 billion for the VA to continue its improvements in PTSD and mental health care for America's vets. Sixth, this bill includes funding for the 1,200 new claims processors to reduce the backlog of veterans receiving the benefits they've earned. Seventh, this bill also continues to open up, as I referenced briefly, VA medical care to more middle and low-income veterans, many of whom had been locked out since a cap was placed on income thresholds back in 2003. Finally, we want to ensure that and this is important, we want to ensure that the historic increases for VA health care and benefits, that those dollars are spent wisely. So, and I know Mr. Wamp and I share a strong commitment to this. We want to see that every dime of that is spent for the highest priority needs of our veterans. So together we supported increasing the VA Office of Inspector General by $19.2 million, and we have every intention through our subcommittee of exercising increased oversight of the VA to see that these tax dollars are spent effectively and efficiently. Just a few basic numbers. Overall, this bill totaled $77.9 billion in discretionary funding for fiscal year 2010. This is $239 million above President Obama's request and $5 billion more than fiscal year 2009. For the VA, we include $48.2 billion in fiscal year 2011 advanced funding for VA medical services, medical support, and compliance, and medical facilities, an 8.3% increase over the historic funding level of 2010. For military construction, family housing, and BRAC, the bill provides $24.6 billion and fully funds BRAC 05 at $7.5 billion. For the VA, the fiscal year 2010, the bill provides $53 billion in discretionary funding. This is $5.4 billion above the 2009 funding and matches President Obama's VA request, which I should point out was the largest increase requested by any president in over 3 decades. The fiscal year 2010 increase for the Veterans Health Administration is $4.4 billion, which is 11% over fiscal year 2009. Finally, I want to thank people who work every day, in fact, day and night, behind the scenes without public applause for our veterans and our troops and their families. These are the people who make up the staff of the Military Construction and VA Appropriations Subcommittee, and I want to thank them by name. The minority staff, led by Martin Delgado, Liz Dawson, and Kelly Shea, and Aaron Fogelman and Juan Alvarez from Mr. Wamp's staff. And the majority staff, led by Subcommittee Clerk Carol Murphy, Tim Peterson, Murray Arnold, Walter Hearn, and Donna Shabazz, and Lindsay Davis on my staff. I would also like to add a special thanks to John Conger, who has recently left my staff to work for our military as an employee of the Pentagon. All of these people have helped continue the long, proud tradition and legacy of this subcommittee to work on a bipartisan, frankly, a nonpartisan basis, always putting our troops and veterans first. And as I say that, I once again thank our ranking member for always fighting and putting first our troops and our veterans. With that, I'd like to reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Texas reserves. The gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
Madam Chairman, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
It is indeed a high privilege and a great honor to stand on the floor today with Chairman Edwards and present the 2010 Military Construction, Veterans Affairs, and Related Agencies Appropriations Bill. Indeed, this bill is not about us. It's not about our individual districts. It's about them, those that volunteer to serve our country in the uniform of our armed forces, past, present,